We're going to learn how to use Pixlr to kind of change some settings on our photographs. So the first thing we're going to do is this is going to be for our making something look old. All right, and I looked for some examples of what an old photograph looks like, and what's interesting is it's not actually completely black and white. There's a little bit of this sepia tone, which means it has a little bit of this red-orange kind of color in the blacks, all right? But it also has some of this kind of texture on top. So we're just going to learn how to do that. Um, the files are in the Google Classroom. I downloaded them, and they're in a folder right here. So I'm going to open an image. And they're in a folder on my desktop called Pixlr, and the picture that I'm going to do is this Grand Palace picture. Alright, so the first thing I want to do is maybe adjust the color. Alright, there's lots of different ways to do this, but we're going to start off with hue and saturation. So like I said, I don't want it to be completely black and white. I actually want it to be a little bit reddish inside of there. So saturation here, you can make it brighter with more saturation or closer to black and white over here. So I'm going to go almost all the way there. And then I'm going to play with this hue, this colorize. I'm going to move it towards the reds. Maybe here. And bring down the saturation a bit. And it's a little bit too dark here, but we'll fix that. So colorize, bring the hue over to this red. I want a little bit more. And then I'm going to apply. And now it's a little bit too dark. That's okay. I'm going to go to adjust, and I'm going to go to my levels. And the levels here, this is black, this is white. So if I want it to be blacker, I go here. If I want it to be a little bit lighter, I'm going to bring my whites up a bit more. And so this is my highlights, this is my dark tones, and this actually, like, this is the mid tones. You can kind of play with it. I want it to be something like that. And then I apply. So this is pretty close. It's got that kind of reddish texture in there. If I feel it's too much, I can go back to my hue and saturation and just desaturate just a little bit more, maybe just a bit more, and then I apply, and it still has a little bit, but now it still feels like a new picture. So what I'm gonna do is I have this old dirty paper right here. So I'm going to import this old dirty paper in, add to current, and I'm going to make it fit right here. Okay. And that's on top. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to this thing called blend mode. And there's a lot of different blend modes, and we can try different ones. Multiply means anything dark shows through. So you see here, it kind of has that nice dark little extra like paper damage on there. Screen means it puts everything light on there, which is too much because it was a light piece of paper. Lighter. Overlay is a little bit of the light, a little bit of the dark, which could look nice, but if I wanted to use overlay, I might want to bring down the opacity of this layer right here. So just a little bit on there. And what that does is it brings out the lights, it puts the darkness on there, So that's one idea, is overlay, but actually I'm going to be honest, I kind of liked the multiply mode a little bit more. I know it darkened my picture a little bit, but it feels like an older photograph. So I added my dirty paper and I changed the opacity, sorry, I changed the color by using hue and saturation and levels when it was too dark. I can then file, and then I can save this image. I'm going to save it as a high quality JPEG, save as, and I'm going to call it Grand Palace Old. In my desktop folder, I have a Pixlr folder here, so I'll save it there. And then I would submit this in my Google Classroom to show that I did it.